Look, I think he's done more for Connacht this week than spending 100 grand on an advertising campaign, because he's got to Galway, he's met the staff, he's met some of the players, and everyone knows what he did in Leinster. I mean, you speak to any Leinster player, incredibly complimentary about his understanding of how to build, how to coach, how to run training sessions, which is obviously in Leinster's hard because of numbers, but he ran brilliant training sessions. His philosophy on the game, how he develops leadership and culture. And I think Connacht players are excited, Connacht fans are excited. And he also does a huge amount to develop coaches as well. Like, he worked harder than a lot of people in Leinster at actually giving his time to develop young coaches. So he's a great get. Fair play to the IRFU and Connacht for getting him. And I think it also shows, the investment they made in facilities is obviously important for players and staff. But someone like him, you're trying to hire a coach. He was on the shortlist for the Welsh job. He was down to the last two for Australia. If he had to bide his time, he could have got some big jobs in Europe, and he's picked Connacht.
Well, it's the pieces in the kind of progression all seem to be coming together, as Bernard said, the stadium, and now, you really do have a top-table coach there.
Yeah, you do. But to be fair to Connacht, first off, like, they wouldn't have got him had those other pieces not been there.
Check.
The fact that he was over there to watch his son playing for Racing recently, I think, obviously opened his eyes to what's happened out in West for the past number of years. But there is an incredible number of real quality young players. Looking in that caption there, Cathal Ford, a centre who couldn't get his place on the team towards the end of the season. I think he's been outstanding. And there's a lot of players in that category. And I think Lancaster is tailor-made for them. If I was in charge of selling season ticket holders for Connacht, I'd be absolutely thrilled, because my job has been done overnight. And just to back up what Bernard said, I was out with Johnny Sexton at a function recently, and he spoke in glowing terms. This was before his name ever came up in a Connacht scenario, and he spoke in glowing terms about what Lancaster did for Leinster. So from that point of view, I think Connacht...
Without betraying confidences, what in particular did Johnny Sexton say was kind of one of the key...
Just his capacity to bring everybody on board, to actually coach,
as
to
Bernard
improve,
said,
improve players, to work with people and make them better. And people then, as a consequence, really want to work with him, for him. And, that's a uniting element in any dressing room.
And the age profile of the Connacht squad is ideal too. So I presume, like, you've 21, 22, 23-year-olds there, he can develop, but also I presume his Rolodex, like 20th century term, is pretty good too for ringing some players who might think of jumping across the Shannon.
Yeah, and I've said all year this year I thought Connacht underachieved. I think they have underachieved with the quality of players they've got, and it's such an exciting time to be a Connacht fan right now. I think Finlay Bealham being announced, so 3 British and Irish Lions.
Well remembered.
That new stadium, I saw what it did for Ulster to get a brand new stadium. When you're trying to recruit new players, and it's Stuart Lancaster going to the meeting with those facilities, when you're trying to bring players through your academies, when you're trying to get bums on seats, when you're trying to get a few quid out of those people when they're on the seats, to have the corporate, it's so positive. For Connacht right now, if I put my Ulster hat on, I'm really, really jealous. It's just such an exciting time for Connacht, and I think definitely keep an eye on them next year.
This hasn't been announced yet, but there's a good batch of young players from Leinster going down there to join their academy, which again, he'll bring them on. I mean, what a lift for them. They have the homegrown guys, but Finn Tracy came down last year. He's come through, so really exciting times for Connacht.